Think about the last time you sat down to eat meat. Chicken, maybe. Beef, pork, something ordinary. You probably didn't think twice about it. But here's the strange part. You never actually chose it. Every animal that regularly ends up on a dinner plate anywhere in the world was selected thousands of years ago by people you will never meet, in places you have never set foot in. And there is one enormous, surprisingly tasty, genuinely terrifying animal that came remarkably close to joining that list. An animal once seriously proposed for large-scale farming along American rivers. An animal that a national government actually debated turning into an everyday meat source, and came within a single stalled vote of becoming as unremarkable as a hot dog. The hippopotamus. And the real reason you have never eaten one has almost nothing to do with how dangerous it is. Stick around until the end, because the last piece of this story will change how you look at every meal you've ever eaten. Let's deal with the obvious explanation first. Hippos are massive, aggressive, and unpredictable, responsible for hundreds of human deaths across Africa every year, more than lions, leopards, and crocodiles combined in some tallies. A full-grown hippo can weigh well over 3,000 kilograms. Its teeth can grow past 40 centimeters, and in water, it essentially disappears, holding its breath for minutes at a time while walking silently along riverbeds. So, yes, dangerous, obviously, but that answer doesn't actually explain anything, because danger alone has never stopped humans from putting something on the menu. We hunted whales across open ocean with hand tools. We trapped bears inside their own dens. We've eaten sharks, alligators, and giant tortoises. And long before any of that, our ancestors ate woolly mammoths and cave bears, animals considerably larger and more dangerous than any hippo. Fear has never been the deciding factor. So what's actually going on here? The real explanation starts on a river, with a species that used to be everywhere. Picture the ancient Nile, loud, crowded, packed with tens of thousands of hippos along every bend and muddy bank. They grazed fields at night and capsized fishing boats simply by surfacing beneath them. They were woven so deeply into daily life that ancient Egyptians worshipped a goddess shaped like one, Taweret, protector of fertility and childbirth, depicted with the body of a hippo, the tail of a crocodile, and the limbs of a lion. And the Egyptians didn't just fear or worship hippos, they ate them, regularly and enthusiastically. Hunting one was considered one of the boldest acts a pharaoh could perform, and tomb carvings show kings in reed boats driving spears down into the water. The meat was rendered and eaten, described in historical accounts as rich and dense, somewhere between beef and pork. The Egyptians became so effective at hunting hippos that they wiped them out along most of the Nile within centuries, not because the animal was hard to catch, but because it was too valuable to leave alone. By the early medieval period, hippos had vanished from Lower Egypt, and by the late 19th century, they were gone from nearly all of North Africa. The civilization that built the pyramids once had hippo on the dinner table. So the idea that humans simply can't eat hippos isn't ancient wisdom. It's something we collectively forgot, and that forgetting is what makes 1910 so remarkable. By 1910, the United States faced two problems at once. The first was meat, a booming population and expanding cities driving demand for beef and pork faster than farmland could keep up, with newspapers speculating about a coming protein shortage. The second was ecological. Water hyacinth, an ornamental plant imported from South America, had escaped cultivation in Louisiana and was spreading uncontrollably, choking rivers, killing fish, and stopping boat traffic. Nothing in North America could keep it in check. Into that situation walked two extraordinary men. Frederick Russell Burnham was an American scout who had spent years surviving deserts, jungles, and conflicts across multiple continents. Fritz Duquesne was a soldier of fortune from southern Africa, a hunter who had operated in some of the most hostile environments imaginable. Together, they proposed something audacious, including work associated with evolutionary biologist Jared Diamond, have outlined a demanding checklist a species must satisfy before humans can farm it at scale. It has to thrive on cheap food, grow and reproduce quickly, breed willingly in captivity, and not be so dangerous it routinely kills the people raising it. Critically, it needs a social hierarchy humans can insert themselves into. Cattle follow a dominant animal. Horses follow a lead figure in the herd, and once a species accepts a human as that dominant presence, the relationship becomes workable. Hippos have social structures, territorial males, protective females, clear hierarchies, but none of it allows for human integration. A hippo cannot be convinced a person outranks it, only that a person is a threat. Out of the hundreds of large mammal species that existed roughly 10,000 years ago, only about 14 were ever successfully domesticated. Cattle, sheep, goats, pigs, horses, donkeys, 2 species of camel, llamas, alpacas, reindeer, water buffalo, yaks, and 1 breed of Southeast Asian cattle. Everything else was disqualified by small mismatches in temperament, diet, or social structure. Hippos failed on nearly every count: too aggressive, too territorial, too slow to breed, too expensive to feed, and impossible to confine safely. The strangest twist is that this exact experiment did eventually run, just not in Louisiana. In the 1980s, Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar built a private zoo and imported 4 hippos as exotic attractions. After his death in 1993, most exotic animals were relocated, but the hippos were too dangerous and expensive to move, so they were left behind. They wandered off, found nearby rivers, and thrived in Colombia's warm, wet climate, a region with no natural predator capable of threatening an adult hippo. Ecologist Jonathan Shurin at the University of California, San Diego, has published research tracking how that small founding population has since grown into more than 100 feral hippos spreading through the Magdalena River Basin, with projections suggesting the number could climb into the thousands within decades if left unmanaged. His work has documented how their waste is altering oxygen levels and water chemistry in nearby lakes,